Dear students, as social beings, we live in a society that comprises of both social situations and nature. What is very interesting about these two things are the change and the permanency. Nothing is permanent, although it looks like permanent, it is subject to change. What all we see around us, the nature, the mountain, the lakes, the flowers, everything is subject to change. What we have seen today is not the same tomorrow. That is why life is very interesting. Otherwise, it will become very dull. What is the pattern of change that takes place in our society? That is what we are going to see in this class. The theories of social change. Theories on social change help us clarifying the concepts and nature of social change. They provide us a better understanding of this important social phenomenon. There are many theories explaining the process of social change. The theories of social change may be studied under four major categories, namely evolutionary theories, cyclic theories, conflict theories and functional theories. First, I will explain to you the evolutionary theories. Early evolutionary theories were based on the assumption that all societies develop from simple small scale beginnings into a more complex industrial societies. The development process was thought to be unilinear, inherent and progressive. Auguste Comte believed that human societies evolved in a unilinear manner. He has explained the stages of progress under three stages, namely the theological stage, the metaphysical stage and positive stage. He established correlation between the intellectual stages and stages in the development of man's material life. In the first stage, that is in the theological stage, man attributes everything to the supernatural beings. He is not able to explain why certain things happen in the nature. So, he thinks everything happens because of a supernatural power. Second stage is metaphysical stage. In the metaphysical stage, man understands there is something behind all the happenings of the world other than the supernatural thing. Now, he starts speculating why certain things happen in a certain way. He starts thinking. This stage we call as the metaphysical stage. The third stage is positive stage, in which man starts thinking everything in a positive manner, positive in the sense in a scientific manner. This is the final stage according to Auguste Comte. Next to Comte, L. H. Morgan, while explaining social change, claims that savagery, barbarism and civilization are the three basic stages of human evolution. The evolutionary view of social change given by Herbert Spencer was based on the theory of organic evolution of human development propounded by Charles Darwin, and this theory was widely appreciated by scientific community at that time. Herbert Spencer, fascinated by the organic evolution theory, applied the same principles to society to put forth the theory of social evolution. Charles Darwin explained organic evolution from a simple unicellular organism to complex multicellular organisms. Spencer applied this idea to society and explained that all forms of societies have evolved from a simple homogeneous unit to complex heterogeneous societies. Spencer explains this as a series of changes have gone through during development of the seed into a tree or an ovum into an animal constitute an advance from homogeneity of structure to heterogeneity of structure, and this organic progress is the law of all progress. Next, Spencer applied Darwin's principle of survival of the fittest to his theory. He argues that societies have survived because they have adapted to better and advanced ways of life and thus have reached the present industrial society. Spencer has made an organic analogy between the human organism and society. He has said that like organism, the society also has various parts, that is subsystems, and each subsystem performs its own specific function like human organs. Finally, each part works for the total functioning of the body, and similarly all the subsystems contribute ultimately for the total functioning of the society. To elaborate this, human body has many parts performing different functions. The legs are meant to walk, the eyes to see, and the stomach to digest. Each part has its own function, but all parts work towards the total functioning of the body. Similarly, different social organizations like the political system, the education system, or the family system perform their own specialized functions for the sake of the total functioning of the society. Next is the explanation given by Emily Durkheim. Emily Durkheim explains social evolution with the concept of moral density by identifying two forms of social structures. He explains that societies have evolved from mechanical solidarity to organic solidarity. Mechanical solidarity has social structures with minimum differentiations of division of labor and exhibit similar ways of life among its people. In the case of organic solidarity, maximum division of labor prevails and it exhibits complex and dissimilar ways of life within it. Gerard Lenski has recently, that is in 1998, discussed evolutionary theory with 4 stages through which societies progress. These stages are hunter gatherer, horticulture, agrarian and industrial. He says that each stage is a typical pattern of development due to expansion of technology and harnessing of sources of energy. But Lenski does not claim that one stage is better or superior to the other. The contemporary evolution theories propagate multilinear development rather than unilinear one. In the process of social development from simple to complex, the society enables variations in the way changes take place in different subsystems of the society. As a result, it produces a multilinear pattern of change. For instance, there may be rapid growth of industries, but ideological changes may be very less. At the same time, different ideologies originate. The health facilities may grow, but the infrastructure facilities may be less. But many developments in medical specializations may branch off. In the case of art, many new patterns might emerge. This is what we call as the multilinear development. The next theory is cyclical theories. Cyclical theories describe societies as going through cycles of rise and fall rather than development in a single unilinear pattern. They explain change of societies with rise and fall of civilizations like that of growth and decay. Like human beings move from birth to death, civilizations are born, grow, and at one point decay or decline. The historic civilizations of Egypt, Greece and Rome are the classical examples for cyclical theory. They are born, grew, matured, declined and died. Spengler, Toynbee and Sorokin belong to this school of thought. First, I will explain the theory given by Oswald Spengler. Oswald Spengler, a German school teacher, wrote a book titled The Decline of the West in 1918. He said that civilizations are like biological organism that has life cycles. Similar to living organisms, the civilizations too are born, reach maturity and may die off. The fate of civilization was a matter of destiny. After making a study of 8 major civilizations, he said that the Western civilization was entering into a period of decline. The decline is due to wars, conflicts and social breakdown that are being reported frequently. The criticism against this theory is the unrealistic nature of analogy with the human organism and also his attribution to destiny. Arnold Toynbee, a British historian, studied 24 civilizations and wrote a book titled A Study of History in 1946. Toynbee suggested that societies move from a passive state to an active state in response to external challenges or internal challenges or even environmental challenges. The survival of the civilization depends on the successful response of it to these challenges. In facing the challenges, the activism eventually slows down as patterns become institutionalized. The regimes become powerful and then increasingly oppressive, which will result in turmoil. This might lead to the death of the civilization. History of human society is a series of cycles of decay and growth. Next is Petrim Sorokin's theory. Petrim Sorokin, the Russian American sociologist, offered another explanation to social change in his book Social and Cultural Dynamics, which he wrote in 1938. He proposed that two cultural extremes called the sensate and the ideational. Between these 2 points, the cultures oscillate over a period of time. The sensate culture represents hedonistic, sensual and materialistic qualities. The ideational culture emphasizes only those things that are perceived by mind and not by senses, as in the case of sensate culture. They say that no society is purely or totally either sensate or ideational. The societies oscillate between these two extremes again and again. Societies contain both these impulses in varying degrees, and the tension between them creates long term instability. According to Sorokin, there is one more state which quality he calls as idealistic. This is a state of desirable blend of both ideational and sensate culture. Sorokin's theory is widely accepted in sociology, although criticism is laid on it as speculative. One more example could also be given for this cyclic theory from India. Ancient Hindu Yuga theory is based on this cyclic pattern. According to Yuga theory, ages or yugas pass through Krita Yuga, Trita Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and finally Kali Yuga. After Kali Yuga, the chakra passes on again to Krita Yuga. This is a good example for cyclic theory. The next theory is called the functional theories. The idea of social change as a dynamic process, as explained by evolution theories, shifted to an explanation based on stability and interdependence in the middle of 20th century. Functional theories assume that societies are basically stable. The various parts performing different functions are interdependent on each other. They work together to make society function as a whole. The change in one part will create change in other systems correspondingly, and such changes are directed towards maintaining the equilibrium of the society. For instance, a change in the education system will create changes in the family, rescheduling of transportation and the demand for new occupations. Rapid changes without holding the equilibrium might result in dysfunction or will be disruptive for the total system. The example is former Soviet Union. The criticism against functional theory is its failure to explain this kind of dysfunctional effects of social change. Talcott Parson has also given his explanation on social change. Talcott Parsons has also given a functional analysis to describe two processes under functional theory of social change. In simple societies, institutions are undifferentiated. A single institution performs many functions. For example, in earlier societies, joint families were able to serve many functions like child rearing, educating the child, economic activity and recreation. It was possible for the family to be self-contained, but as societies progress and become complex, the process of differentiation takes place. Different institutions take over certain functions as specialized units to perform that particular function alone. We may observe this in the present societies. The school has the function to educate children, and the media and theatres are performing the recreational functions that were earlier fulfilled by the joint family system. The units become highly specialized in specific function, but at the same time are linked together in a proper way in the process of integration. It is a kind of social adaptation. For Robert K. Merton, another functionalist, the strain, tension and contradictions between the component parts of social structure may lead to social changes. This is a brief explanation of functional theories of social change. Sociologists who are not satisfied with the explanations of functionalists turn to conflict theories. What is conflict theory? Conflict theories highlight the social forces that produce instability and disorganization in the society. In that way, conflicts are inevitable in social life. Ralph Dahrendorf, who initiated the conflict ideology, says that change is ubiquitous. Conflict is ubiquitous. Every element contributes for change, and every society rests on constraints of some of its members by others. According to Karl Marx, socio-economic class conflict is the major sources of tension leading to change in society. The two major social classes of capitalism, the rich and the poor, or the industrialists and laborers, or the bourgeois and proletariats, are polarized by their interests, the rich becoming the exploiting group and the poor are the exploited group. This ultimately results in class conflict. Now, Marx proposes a dialectical model consisting of thesis, antithesis and synthesis. Karl Marx says that this type of conflict is necessary for society because it forces society to adopt new conditions and change to a better form. For Karl Marx, all hitherto existing history are the history of class conflict. They are confrontation over slavery, gender discriminations and caste disparity. These conflicts are useful as they try to solve the existing problems in the society. George Simmel, who also believed in conflict theory, had the opinion that conflicts are permanent events and conflicts also bind people of similar interests. Conflicts keep society dynamic and ever changing. The primary focus of conflict theory is exploitation, discrimination and revolt resulting in conflict. Although conflict theories are partially correct in their analysis, many more situations have to be taken into account. Therefore, world system theory of change evolved. Now, we will see what we mean by world system theory of change. This theory divides the world system into three main parts: the core, the semi-peripheral and the peripheral areas. The core areas are economically and politically powerful. The core countries include Europe, Japan, the United States, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. Historically, they have controlled global decision making and dominated the peripheral areas by controlling the flow of technology and capital. These countries control the International Monetary Fund too. Peripheral countries provide cheap labor and raw materials for the core countries. Many African and Asian countries and Latin American countries come under this category. The semi-peripheral countries are in an intermediate position, trading with both the core and the peripheral countries. For example, former Soviet Union, but the existing relationship is challenged by the expanding economies like India, China and Korea. Since 1960s, this relationship has been dramatically changed. In one sense, the world system theory is a kind of conflict theory, since the core countries have started exploiting the poor countries. I was explaining to you the evolution theories, cyclical theories, functional theories, conflict theories and finally, the world system theory of change. All the theories explaining social change emphasize certain aspects of social life and contribute for the better understanding of social change. They also provide the students of sociology a good insight into the transforming social world. Now, I want to pose certain questions to you. The first question: explain organic analogy of Herbert Spencer. 2. Discuss as to how conflict theories explain social change. 3. Analyze the world system theory with examples. 4. Describe cyclical theories of social change. In the next class, students, we will study more things about social change. Till then, bye.